badly needed, and we are badly needed and long overdue.
A very serious podcast.
A very serious, non-controversial podcast about this fair village, Colorado Springs. Hello, I'm your host, Nick Raven, and joining me to my virtual left and your little right is my co-host, my colleague, professional, Emilius Harrier.
I am wonderful, Nick. How are y'all?
Good.
I can't do it. I can't. I can't. It's not a thing. Not a thing. No, I'm finally. I
Good.
think I'm recovered from my golden jubilee.
Your birthday spritz.
Yes. My happy funness.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
A little
the Spanish beehive. Or not Spanish, Italian beehive.
The Italian beehive.
Oh God. They're right next to each other when you think about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little non-sponsored plug here. I had my birthday bash at La Berleby, downtown
which I'd never
Colorado
been
Springs.
to. So
And it's a beautiful, amazing place with beautiful, amazing people. And if you're listening and you haven't been there, then you suck and need to go.
Also, not very ADA accessible. Lots of stairs.
No, it is not.
Yeah, and low overhangs and stuff like that. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's really not a lot that they could do because of the space itself. I mean, it was that way when it was the underground, that kind of stuff. And it's just, it sucks, but that's how it's.
I remember the underground being like in the radio ads like all the time. I think it was maybe like Kilo, and I think when I was listening to Magic before then, everyone's like, "Come down to the underground. We got rockin' DJs. We got all the hits." Yeah, back in the day.
It's always been such an incredible space. Honestly, because
it seems like it's better utilized now.
It really is. It really is. And it's beautiful, and it's covered in glitter and chandeliers and all the things that make my little magpie mermaid heart happy.
Well, speaking of magpie mermaid hearts, we're talking about voting today.
Yay!
Yeah.
So important.
Getting out the vote. So important. Tomorrow is election day. If you're listening to this when it debuts, we've got some kind of random factoids, things like that. But I think we're going to be also just kind of musing philosophically about what it means, especially here in Colorado Springs, because our municipal elections, aren't till April, which is it's a big deal. So we'll have a special episode about that as those roll along. But we've got some stuff. So Emily, what you got?
Yes. All right. So Nick, something I discovered I was not aware of, and I don't know if our listeners, watchers are aware either. On Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, you can take yourself right down to any election site. You can register to vote, and you can still vote in the election.
That's really cool. Day of registration.
Yes, day of registration. It is fantastic.
They're not going to mail you a ballot at that point.
No, you won't get a ballot mailed, but you'll get a ballot mailed for the next election.
Yeah.
You have to go in and vote in person, but you can do that up and 5 minutes before you cast your vote. You can register to vote in the state of Colorado.
Yes. Exactly.
Which is
super
important.
Neat.
Well, it's very cool, and it's also super, super important. Not voting is not an option. Myself personally, and this may be a little controversial, whatever, I think that voting should be mandatory for everybody. You turn 18 and you have to show up every time there's a vote.
That's how it is.
You have to show up and do it. I know.
You get fined if you don't show. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I've been kind of on and off of that for a while because, like I said at my presentation at Nerd Night, Colorado Springs,
where we got is also a
which being Pilates, which is also a non-sponsored plug. Gave a presentation on voting, and I didn't vote for the first 12 years or 10 years that I could vote, and it was privilege, but also I didn't really know the system, and it didn't seem like it affected me. So it's the same thing with like unionization. Like, no one unionizes when they're getting paid a whole bunch of money and feel good and they can easily find work. You know?
I mean, I understand that. And so with your story, with you not voting, I voted my very first time voting. It was my 19th birthday when I was able to vote for the very first time. So 1992. Yes, I'm telling you how old I am now. 1992. And oh no, it was my 20th birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my 20th birthday.
Yeah.
And I have voted in every single election. Every, down to the little piddly
the judges,
like city, the judges, all that kind of stuff. If I have a ballot, I'm voting. And if I don't have a ballot, then I need to know why I don't have a ballot, because I need to vote.
Yeah. I'm activated now. I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then, I think in 2004, I was like going to register, but they didn't have that same day thing going on. So it was like, well, you missed your window. Like, well, I guess I'm not voting.
Yeah. I guess I'm just not going to do this now. It's too hard.
And then it wasn't until 2012 that I got in there and took care of the business. And I visited my polling place, which at the time was the Citadel Mall. I'm looking at my polling places here. It looks like there's a couple churches, the East Library, and it's mostly churches. Yeah. So I mean, using those churches for something good.
Well,
nothing against you Christian folk, but like it's empty. It's like parking spaces. It's not empty 95% of the time. So
yeah. So I'm just going to have a little mini rant here. Warning.
Okay.
Can we discuss the fact that we are voting in churches? What?
Yeah.
Because all that just confuses the whole separation of church and state thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to go vote inside a church.
But they're also, but they're also big empty buildings that are designed for people to come together.
I know, but there's other places we can do this. We do not need to be doing this in churches.
Oh yeah, just don't
stop it.
Don't go to a church then. Yeah.
Stop it.
Well, eventually religion will just fall out or do whatever, and it'll be what it is. So
I know.
Believe if you don't, shake them if you got them.
On the plus side, because we're in Colorado, we don't have to leave our houses to vote. We can vote in our underwear.
Well, you still have to leave the house to deliver your...
Look, you eventually have to leave the house to do it.
Yes, you do.
To drop it off.
Yeah, you do. And if you do it in your underwear, that's your call.
Yes, the process of the voting.
Yeah.
You don't have to leave your house. It comes to you. It literally comes and knocks on your door and says, "Hey, I'm a ballot. Use me."
All right. Well, my drugs have not been that strong lately. It's really cool when it does show up in the box though, because it's like official election mail, and it's interesting because they have to print mail specifically for like each precinct, because you have all these overlapping jurisdictions, and it's like, well, you can't vote for them, you can't vote for this, you can't do that. So that's a marvel in and of itself. And,
absolutely,
that's pretty rad. So the people who are like, I don't trust it, like you know what you can kind of eat shit. It's okay to be skeptical, but when this is built on decades of experience and trust, and you're just because of one guy who didn't want the turnout, so he just upended the entire stupid thing for his own selfish reasons, and then perpetuated that lie, and then had a bunch of cohorts, signal along with him. That's entirely bullshit. So
the entire, the big lie.
The big lie is a bunch of shit.
And it's and to think that this was done at a time when the entire country, the entire world was in in the beginning of a pandemic, and global quarantine and everything else, where the only way people were going to be able to actually vote in so many places was for that to come to their mailbox.
Right.
And these states scrambling
in the states where you could even do that.
Yeah. The states scrambling to figure out, well, how do we do this? How do we let people vote by mail? And should we let people vote by mail?
Yeah.
We've been voting by mail in Colorado for how long?
I wanted to say they brought it in 2010, 2012.
Yeah.
It's fair, in the grand scheme of things, fairly recently, but, yeah, not that long ago. And I remember doing, I don't know if I was doing or reading a report on it, but basically participation rates went up pretty dramatically when you get the ballot sent to you, and you could just send it back. And there's a lot of places you can do it, and there's big ass drop boxes that are very, very, very broadly labeled that they are drop boxes. So this is my first time dropping it off at city admin right in front of the mayor. The mayor came out. And he's like, Nick, I've been waiting all year for this. And I'm like, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, John. We know each other by first names. And I just slipped it in there, and off we went. Yeah. And we shook hands, and there was champagne and whatever.
And everybody clapped?
Everybody clapped, yeah. It was kind of a circle. It was like one of those Christian movies where it's like everyone, it's right before, there's a Bible verse or something, and everyone just is really inspirational. But yeah, voting's a big heckin' deal. And
it is a big heckin' deal.
Get involved. And then the mayor will just come out and say hello to you.
Exactly.
Say hi to me.
Now, for those listening, watching, you cannot mail your ballots back now.
Yeah, it's too late. You got to drop off.
You would have had to have done that. Halloween was the cutoff, wasn't it?
It was a week in advance.
Yeah. So if you still have your ballot and you haven't, you didn't mail it, you're going to have to go and find the place to drop it off.
And that's still relatively, although if you're doing it on Tuesday, good heck and luck. I mean, it's not tragic, but it's still, I remember doing it one year at the East Library, and they have that little, it's like a roundabout.
Yeah, the little roundabout.
Thing. Yeah. And there was a couple people in line, and of course they had volunteers there to make sure everything was cool. But there was a couple cars in queue there to drop off their ballots. So.
And if you don't know where to drop off the ballot, you can go to the Secretary of State website. And come on, seriously, computer.
Yeah, seriously.
Stop it.
Also, it's in the instructions you got with the ballot too.
Yes.
I don't know if I still have mine.
But you can. Yeah, you can go to the Secretary of State website, and you put in your zip code, and it will tell you all the places around you.
Yes.
That you can drop off your ballots.
Yes. It's like a couple dozen of them.
Yeah, and I know there's the one at the East Library. There's one at the, what do they even call that building? Like the City Services Building, whatever.
You're talking about City Admin?
Gods.
Oh, Citizen Service Center.
Yes, Citizen Service Center.
Yeah.
Up on Garden of the Gods. You can drop off there. You can also vote there in person.
Yeah, I would expect so. Ballot drop boxes. clerkandrecorder.elpaso.co.com/ballot-drop-boxes-vspc-locations/ done. Secure 24-hour ballot drop boxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say as well, as far as I know, we have not had I know everybody's seen all these videos of like the armed crazy people staking out the ballot boxes.
The intimidation squad.
Yeah.
Meal Team 6, the Gravy Seals.
I do, as far as I am aware, here in Colorado, specifically Colorado Springs, we have not had any of that kind of shit going on.
Right. But also, don't let them intimidate you.
No.
They can eat shit. If they're just going to sit around and, like...
Well, not only that, but I don't understand the purpose of them, because...
Because they're checking, they're police and making sure if you're dropping off multiple ballots or just look brown, they're making sure that you don't get your thing in, because that'll make them look bad.
That's absolutely ridiculous, because I can't say you don't. You sometimes know how a person's going to vote by the way they look, but
sometimes, I guess, yeah.
But you don't know what's inside of that envelope. You don't.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to check.
And it's not your job to check, you morons.
Yeah. So go the fuck home.
Go the fuck home. Stay home.
Worry about your own ballot.
Keep your rifle in your pants.
Mm-hmm.
And just leave it alone. And
exactly.
Stop. Don't even think about it. God. Uh-huh. Don't be a jackass. So, yes. Yeah, don't be a dick. Yeah, absolutely. But
so voting in Colorado and again specifically Colorado Springs is it is so easy. It's almost ridiculous if you don't do it.
Yeah, and at this point, of course, if you have it, you can't do anything with the mail-in ballots, but that also means that you get in for next time. Mm-hmm. So, and that's going to be April, because again, we got municipal. So this is a number of statewide initiatives, local issues, stuff like PPRTA. We've got rec weed propositions 300 and 301, which are the allowance of sale of recreational weed and then the taxation thereof.
Yep.
And there are some weirdos that are like, well, you can allow rec weed, but you don't have to be taxed for it if you vote yes on 300 and no on 301. And it's like, you can if you want, but that's weird.
Right?
That's just missing revenue. Whatever. Mm-hmm. So, but there are a number of city issues on the ballot. Mm-hmm. And so check those out. Judges up and down the yin yang. And a lot of House representatives, the Senate, governors up. CD5, who's our congressman, is up for is the midterms. So, we're some of these look safe, and some are a little closer than others.
Yep. Lots of making sure that the voices that are heard are the ones that have the best interest of Colorado Springs specifically.
Yes.
And, on a more broader scale, the state of Colorado, they have our best interests at heart.
Yeah. And they're not just self-interested dicks, or they're not in the pockets of developers and this and that. And shouldn't have to go to Manitou for weed. Shouldn't have to.
No, you shouldn't have to.
Shouldn't have to, but that's how it is. And as I understand it, there are people who are like, they drive all the way to Pueblo or Denver because there's at least competition. Oh, yeah. And so it's cheaper to do it. Oh, yeah. But, that is what it is. But there are a number of important issues there. There's a number of important issues on every ballot, and that's why the ballots go out to begin with. So, again, this election, and then April, and then, of course, obviously, 2024.
The big one.
The big ones. Yeah, the presidential elections on there, too.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind, it sounds so defeatist, but there are very few things that we, as, the little people, can do to affect what happens federally. Except, we vote, yes.
Except we send a congressman up.
Yes. But that's why voting in these smaller elections is so vitally important, because we are choosing the people who will go on the federal level and be our voice. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if we don't vote in, because I know people that only vote, they vote every 4 years for the president, and that's it, and they're done. They've done their duty. And then bitch and moan about, our congressman isn't doing anything, or our state congressman isn't doing anything, and yada, yada, yada. Well, did you vote for them?
Right.
Did you do anything to get the person that you wanted in there?
Especially when it's every 2 years.
Uh-huh.
It's every 2 years you have a choice of who comes in to represent you in Congress, and then all the way down the line, in the state house and stuff like that. There's all those
Yep.
opportunities that you can use to heck and get involved, and you should be intimately
Yes.
aware, especially in things in a home rule like Colorado Springs that's conservative, that is not going to vote yes on a lot of things
Yep.
because they think we can do more with less, and in reality we are doing a lot less with less, and that's where we're at. We're getting the government that we pay for.
Oh, exactly. And who the hell decided that doing more with less was a good plan?
The people who are kleptocrats and are just securing money for their corporate sponsors and campaign donors.
As a person who has spent her entire life doing more with less, I would like to do more with more.
That would be pretty good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's like the saying, less is more. No, less is less.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
less is lacking.
Context to it, but yes, absolutely. So get the hell out and vote and get those things done, because these are... People seem to forget that the people who are in either the state house or federally or even municipally, those are the people who are going to be not just swaying stuff during the time that they're in office, but the stuff that happens afterward as well. It's not a discrete thing.
Exactly. And these are... So many of these people are people that you see, in... We're not voting for a person that you've never seen out, eating dinner or whatever else. We're voting for people that we know, and we're voting for people that...
We're talking with people who exist and are real.
Yes,
and we've talked to a number of them.
But also who are, again, they're just regular everyday people that are trying to do something to better all of us,
and be on our side.
And it's not like, again, it's not like some... These are our neighbors. These are our friends. These are, for real, just regular... Dog.
No, dog.
Come on.
Dog.
Go lay down. To finish that thought.
Yes.
These... One of the reasons I like the smaller elections is because you are voting for the person you see in the grocery store, or the person, that you sit next to in a movie theater. You're voting for, again, your neighbors, and they have an understanding of what is needed to make your life, specifically you, whoever you are, to make your life better. And to start, like I said before, to start the more with more kind of mentality. And I know that people freak out whenever it's, you talk about taxes, and I don't want to be taxed. Okay, I get that. Taxes kind of suck. But also having children who don't know how to read kind of sucks. And what on earth was that?
That was a dog exploding into a pillow. But yeah, I mean, you're right. And these are people who are actually they're people, not just that we know, but people who are people and real. And they're not working politicians. Some of them are. Some are just, shifting their roles. And that's fine. But we're seeing, especially here in Colorado Springs, a change in the trend line of who's going up there to sit there and decapitate what the role of government is, who's there to use government as a tool for good.
Yeah,
and
which is what it's supposed to be anyway.
That's what it is. It's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
so,
that's.
But they can say the same thing. Oh, that's what it's supposed to be. So that's why we have to knock it out. It's like, no, that's not how it works, jackass.
No, that's no.
That's not how it works. It's not a ballot scheme. So
absolutely not.
So go vote.
No, so we were talking. I don't even remember who I was talking to. It might have been you, Nick. I don't remember. Talking about fiscally conservative people and the amazing thing that happens when fiscally conservative people are in charge, and that is when they're done, we usually wind up with way more debt than we had when they started.
Or even not literal debt, but like physical debt and things not getting done.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the lack of stuff happening because and lack of accountability. I don't want to spend
money.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Again, you don't want to spend money. That's fine. You have to spend money on the things to make the house go.
Or you're delegating some middle step to some person in the middle to get stuff done that's going to cost more for the taxpayer. And you can't have a free market when it's something that's got to get done.
Exactly.
You hear that periodically, regularly, where it's like, oh, we can't do that because it's not going to make money back. It's like the point is that we're spending the money to have it in the first place.
Exactly.
So that's why even a Republican mayor in the past 8 years has been voting and advocating for Tabor overrides, 2C, all these ballot initiatives, stormwater, etc., so that we can actually pay for these things because an ounce of prevention is far better than a pound of cure. And we're eating a lot of pounds of cure right now, especially here in Colorado Springs, making up for austerity and really crappy political processes and
and having a mayor for, I don't remember, was he 4 or 8? I think he was 4.
8.
No, not Southers.
Bach?
Yeah.
He was 4.
No, the one before Bach.
Rivera.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
he was just 4.
I think he was just 4 too.
Yeah, well, he was just 4 because he accomplished the things that he wanted to accomplish in those 4 years, which is setting himself up to make a shit ton of money on the construction projects that Bach then, pushed through.
Sure.
So,
and then also selling Memorial Hospital, because that was one of the first elections that City Clerk Sarah Johnson was involved in, was with the sale of Memorial Hospital to UC Health, and then the first strong mayor election, because Bach was the first strong mayor.
Yes.
Because before then, the mayor was just the basically the president of the city council.
Yeah, president of city council.
Yeah, and he didn't get anything else. They were working full time, just like city council is today. But that's all. That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole different podcast.
So get voting. Did you have any other notes, Emily? On
okay. So with voting.
Yeah.
Now I know this time around, I've been so focused on candidates that I really did not pay a lot of attention to the ballot measures that are being put forth.
Right. And all those judges.
And the judges, I swear. The judges are just because you don't know about these judges. You just don't. Yeah. You don't know anything about them.
And there's really not a good resource to see like what their performance has been.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now there is a. Let's see. Is this the one I want? Not really. No.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want.
Oh, tell me what you want. What you really, really want.
I really, really, really want to see that ballot now.
Zig, ah.
Yeah. We got it.
Okay, so, I know that there are places that you can go to find.
If you're still having issues figuring out.
Yeah, if you're still trying to figure it out. Because honestly, it's the way that these things are worded. I'm a fairly intelligent person, and I read these and go, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Because they're in ballotese, the legal
Yes,
ease.
yes, which is absolutely just ugh.
Because I think Citizens Project has a guide as well.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. That's the CPR, right?
I think that maybe.
Yeah, CPR.org.
So I think that's Colorado Public Radio.
Yeah, oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Don't give CPR to your ballot.
yes. I'm looking and it on the CPR.org. They do have a very simply stated wording on what these ballot issues are.
Mm-hmm. For the layman.
Yeah, I mean, just it's literally like a sentence on each one.
Mm-hmm.
Like with 300 and 301, Colorado Springs voters are being asked whether or not to authorize the regulation of recreational marijuana dispensaries.
For recommended marijuana.
Yes.
You'll get your recommended marijuana if you vote for this proposition. Get some of your devil's lettuce right here.
I'm beginning to think that it should be recommended for most adult humans at this point.
I'm thinking if some more GOP people had some chill pills, oh my God. Oh my.
Yep.
Some of them need CBD really like hard. Our dogs do.
Yeah, it's really hard to want to destroy the nation when all you really want is some cookie dough.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, slight tangent. I saw someone on Reddit. They had their girlfriend had baked cookies using the cookie dough, the little chunks from the ice cream, and it was like 2.5 really small cookies.
Aww.
On the pan, I'm like, oh, okay. I'd rather just have it in the ice cream, but all right, whatever.
That's just sad.
That is,
yeah. So
yeah.
CPR.org has very simply worded. This is what it's saying.
Yeah. So FF and GG and 300 and 301 and I think like 2A and there's a couple other. I don't have them up in front of me at the moment. And then obviously the governor is up again, so it's Polis. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 4 years since
I know.
Got in. It's been strange.
I know.
What a strange journey.
But also, it is not. Colorado Springs is not part of this specific district, but for every person that you know in Congressional District 3, please go and talk strongly to them because we need to replace Bobo desperately.
Out in the western.
Yes, because I know part of it is part of Pueblo.
Yeah. Talk to your Pueblo friends, because if you talk to enough Pueblo friends,
yes,
chances are that's going to be enough to tip this, because it's like all the way Durango, Grand Junction, Rifle.
Yeah, it's a weirdly shaped little district.
C. It's a big C.
Mm-hmm. And but no, country. Because she is running for re-election.
Yeah, if we can get her out of there, that'd be amazing.
And honestly, I just don't necessarily think that we need to have a traitorous insurrectionist.
Yeah.
Representing any part of our state.
Yeah, she can make her money on Fox News or something.
I'm looking. It's so funny. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the the big races. Mm-hmm. Governor, Secretary of State, Attorney General, Treasurer, Senate. And then we get into all of those.
The Congress people.
Yeah, well, all of those offices are held by Democrats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in Colorado.
Then you get into District 3, 4, 5, and 7, which are all Republican.
Yeah, because they're all the rural areas.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because there's a lot of rural Colorado. There really. That's one thing we forget here in Colorado Springs, but there's a lot of rural
Yeah, rural
Colorado.
agriculture, ranches.
Self-sufficient, don't think they need any help.
Yeah, until something
Until
happens,
something happens, and
and then
then
they're like, hey,
help,
government, give me some
please,
dollars, please.
please. Yeah, that's
Please,
how it
sir, may I
works.
have some more?
Yeah, and
Um,
you get people like Ken Buck, or, wear shirts like, shoot them all and let God sort them out, or whatever bull crap that is.
who was oh my gosh, I can't believe it might have been, I don't remember who it was. Back in the early 90s, we had a Democrat a Democrat congressman who, when he was elected in 92, like 6 weeks after he was elected, before he even took office, changed his party affiliation.
Yeah, remember.
I don't remember who that was.
There was a guy not that long ago who did it too, but I don't think it was to much of any effect.
No, this was I'm gonna have to look. I don't want to look it up on the computer.
But yeah, exactly.
Then it's gonna start getting crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no. So District 3.
Get Bobo out of there.
Yeah, if you know anyone in District 3, please have a conversation with them about the fact that she's a garbage pail.
Yeah.
And needs to just go far away. Far away.
And
far away.
And around here, we're looking at like Tony Exum versus Dennis Heisey, who is apparently blowing up everyone's phones and emails and stuff, trying to get the vote out because he's got an uphill battle against Tony.
Oh yeah, no, I got to play with a phone troll for Heisey.
Oh great!
It was awesome. I had so much fun.
That's what it's for. I screen all my calls, so no one gives me shit. Yeah.
Well, I don't answer their calls, but I'll happily answer their texts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Because that is way more fun.
It is way more fun. You can spend more time with it.
Yeah, you can.
And then you get Regina English versus Rachel Stovall.
Rachel Stovall. Just a quick FYI for listeners, watchers, people.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel Stovall in the last 2 weeks has mocked a person for being in a wheelchair, has accused people of being mentally ill because they don't agree with her, has blocked and deleted conversations on social media that did not go the way she wanted them to go. And in general is a really not great person at all. She is, I don't want to say she's garbage because she did do a good thing. She did one good thing. She really, really did. She did a good thing. Rachel Stovall is responsible for the Never Alone bill, which allows family of terminally ill patients to actually be able to be with those people.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good thing that she did. It was really good. I mean, it was done for selfish reasons.
You could say that she has opportunities to improve.
She has. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll just leave it there. I mean, I don't necessarily want to slam the woman, although.
Yeah, right. That could be a whole episode.
But Regina English, Tony Exum.
And then we have all the other runs as well. You've got Stephanie V. Hill, regular visitor to this professional heckin' podcast and namer of this podcast.
Exactly.
Versus
podcast mama.
Donaldson, the city councilor. And we've Alvin's out there, Rob's out there, David's going up against Doug Lamborn.
Yeah, which is that one's a scary one. It really is. Lamborn is so entrenched.
Yeah, which is why that's why he doesn't interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard some
absolutely.
I've heard some good stories about like his staff actually getting some stuff done on his behalf, like especially for vets and that. But he's a monster. He can just get out of there. So
he is. He needs to go. He's been there long enough.
Yeah.
Ken Buck is another one.
Yeah, but he's not here.
No, that's District 4.
Yeah.
Honestly, we need to keep the governor and secretary of state and attorney general and the treasurer.
Yep.
And Senate. We need to keep them.
Keep them in.
And then we need to switch District 3, 4, 5, and 7.
Yep. Get those switched there.
Flip that over. Just flip it. Boop.
Yep, flippity flip. And then, of course, locally, the 300, 301. And we've already talked about this. But, yeah. So, yeah, go vote. Was there anything else?
No. Real quick, though, also on CPR.org, like a non-sponsored,
yeah, I mean, it's public radio. Here. We're paying for it.
They also have the statewide ballot questions. D, E, F, FF, GG, 121, 122, 23, 24, 25, 26.
Yeah.
And again, it's done in very plain language, so you read it and go, oh, okay, that's what they want from me to say yes or no to.
Yeah.
And it also has links for all of the races and little links that you can click.
It's a good resource.
To find out more
if you're still trying to figure everything, because like I said, if you're listening to this the very moment that it's available, you've got like 36 hours or 30 hours to mark up your ballot and get it in.
Yes, because polls close at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, November 8th.
Yeah, so get your stuff, get it in, and get counted, and make your voice heard. And
don't forget, you can register the day of. And if you get to your polling place and there is a line, stay in line.
It will be counted.
Because they will not stop counting the vote until every single vote has been cast. It doesn't matter if you're in line at 6:58 and there's 20 people ahead of you.
Or 200.
Everybody gets to vote, and your vote will still be counted.
Yep.
So there is literally no excuse other than you don't wanna.
Yeah.
Which is a whole different podcast.
You might even say it was a talk.
It was a talk.
It was a talk. It was a speech. It was a presentation.
Yeah. Given by this dude in a kilt. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. Pretty rad. Cool.
So yes, definitely vote in every single election, even the ones that you think don't make any kind of a difference.
Because like we've said a couple times here, we've got another one coming up in 4 months.
Yeah,
5 months.
We have another one coming up in April, and then again in
2024.
Yeah, in 2024. So
get it done.
If you get a ballot, fill out your ballot.
Send it in.
You can fill it out in your drawers, and then put on some pants and drop it off.
Yeah, or you can risk it. Whatever.
Yeah, if it's close enough to your house, just run.
Yeah.
Just run real quick and throw it in there. It's fine.
All right, Emily. Do you want to get us out of here?
No, because I don't have my script open yet.
Oh, okay. That's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, click on the buttons. Submit your ballot to the script.
Stop it, computer. Stop it. It's not that hard, I promise.
They make it real.
And for some reason, this thing wants to.
I got to turn my ballot for those listening. I got to turn my ballot in at City Admin, so it was right on. It was, like I said, it was right on the way to work. So pulled out.
And that's
boom. There it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm headed to get mine dropped off.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Okay, so I guess we can wrap this up now. I'm ready.
All right, Emily, get us out of here.
I will be happy to. Badly Needed and Long Overdue is a podcast about shaking things up in a conservative city. This show is hosted by Nick Raven, who is that way over there.
There you go.
Over there.
Yeah.
And Emily Lewis, which is me. You can watch the video version of this show on YouTube and listen to us in podcast form on all of your favorite podcast platforms. We're everywhere. Like the Borg.
Yes.
Our theme music is by the Knockblockers, our local ska band. Very cool. I don't necessarily know if they have any shows before the first of the year, but follow them on the Facebooks, and you can find out if they have any. You can also reach us on all of the social media platforms, except for Tumblr, which is scary.
It's kind of still there, I think.
Yeah. Well, it is. The teenagers on it constantly.
We need to really boost our MySpace presence. I think that's really going to help us out. Get our exposure up.
I'm saying. Especially with the craziness of some of these, like the Bird app.
Yes, that's a whole.
Okay, so anyway, but you can find us on Instagram at Badly Needed Podcast, on the Bird Space at Badly Needed COS, on the Facebooks at Badly Needed and Long Overdue Podcast, and on TikToks at BNLO Podcast.
Thank you, Emily. We are badly needed and long overdue. Get your ballot in. Vote. Get it in.
Vote.
Put your votes in. Be heard. Exercise your right to party and to choose parties and to have parties.
Yay,
we will
parties.
See you next time.
Bye.
Wah, wah, wah.